Imagine walking through a cornfield at sunrise, dew still clinging to the leaves, and instead of hearing the distant drone of a tractor, you catch the electric hum of 6 carbon fiber rotors slicing the air overhead, pinpoint spraying fertilizer with centimeter accuracy while you sip coffee and watch the dashboard on your tablet light up green acre after acre after acre. That's not the future, that's right now. And it's already happened on more than 1 million acres because a team of XUT Austin engineers decided precision agriculture shouldn't be a privilege for megafarms but a push-button superpower every grower can wield. So in the next few minutes I'm going to show you exactly how their AgriDrones leapfrog tractors, ground rigs, and even helicopters, why a single pilot can command a 3-ship swarm legally cleared by the FAA, and how that combination of American-built hardware plus in-house software is reshaping a $556 billion market faster than weeds in a wet spring. But before we dive into the nuts and bolts, let me stake the bold claim that by the end of this video you'll never look at crop protection or AG equipment the same way again. You'll understand the revenue flywheel that took Hylio from a college project to $30+ million lifetime sales with $11 million booked in 2024 alone. And you'll have a crystal clear sense of whether owning or investing in this technology makes sense for you, whether you're farming 200 acres of soybeans, consulting for a co-op, or simply hunting for the next breakout in American robotics. So let's kick off with the elephant, or rather the drone in the room. Scale. Tractors cover ground but crush soil. Helicopters spray wide but waste chemical, and both burn diesel like it's 1990, yet a single AG 272 maxed out at 18 gallons can treat 40 acres an hour without ever compacting a furrow, and if you dispatch 3 at once you're talking 120 acres an hour from a lawn chair comfortable operator position, meaning the bottleneck shifts from horsepower to how fast you can swap totes, which, spoiler alert, takes under 3 minutes with the Quick Connect system. But numbers are just numbers until we anchor them in reality. So picture Wilbur Ellis, Nutrien, and the USDA, all of whom signed purchase orders after field demos proved drift reduction of up to 90% compared with boom sprayers along fence lines and tree rows. That alone trims chemical cost by double-digit percentages, and in an industry where margins ride a razor's edge between rain forecasts and commodities futures, that differential tumbles straight to the bottom line. Yet efficiency isn't the only lever here. Safety matters too, and anyone who's ever climbed into a cab after 12 straight hours dodging center pivots knows fatigue makes mistakes. While a groundlink controller won't nod off or miss an exclusion zone because GPS and radar make sure each nozzle fires only when it should, stopping dead a quarter inch before a riverbank or organic buffer zone, something regulators love and neighbors appreciate. But perhaps the biggest overlooked upside is regulatory momentum. In February 2024, Hylio won the first FAA exemption for true swarm operations. One pilot, multiple drones, day or night, creating a legal moat that overseas competitors can't simply copy-paste, especially now that CBP has all but shut the door on Chinese imports under the Uyghur Forced Labor Protection Act, a move that left DJI inventory sold out nationwide and cracked the door wide for U.S. manufacturers to fill the vacuum. Hylio's Richmond, Texas, facility, now 40,000 square feet, can ramp to 5,000 units a year by 2027, and with the administration's drone dominance executive order channeling $9+ billion into unmanned systems while slashing red tape on BVLOS waivers. The timing is as sweet as a July watermelon, but you might ask, all this tech sounds expensive, can ordinary growers afford it? And the answer is yes, because Hylio purposely spans the ladder from the compact 2.5-gallon AG 110, ideal for specialty crops and research plots, to the flagship AG 272, and financing options through Nutrien AG Solutions plus REAP. Energy efficiency grants knock down upfront costs, so ROI often lands under 2 seasons, especially when you factor in reduced pesticide use, minimal fuel, and the soft but very real savings of not sending a human into a field with a backpack sprayer during triple-digit heat. Add in the environmental credit farmers bank by cutting over spray, and you've got a compelling triple bottom line profit, people, planet, all orchestrated by software that updates over the air whenever the Houston dev team pushes a new build. Unlike off-the-shelf drones that force you into proprietary ecosystems or worse, Chinese cloud servers flagged for data risk. So ownership stays simple. Charge the batteries, Load the tank, tap the prescription map, and let the lidar-guided autopilot handle altitude while RTK keeps rows dead straight, even in patchy GPS. The result looks almost cinematic from the ground. But to the farmer, it's mundane reliability, just as autopilot and tractors moved from novelty to necessity a decade ago, which brings us to the macro case. Population is on track to hit 9+ billion by 2050, arable land per capita keeps shrinking, and the only way to square that circle is produce more with less. So precision tools that literally fly over the problem rather than grind through it form a new layer in the AG stack, akin to how GPS-guided planters change seed placement. That's why analysts peg the agricultural UAV slice alone at 100 billion by next decade, not counting the overlapping 79 billion crop protection pie, or the monster 377 billion AG equipment category ripe for disruption. And if those numbers feel abstract, remember that investors have already poured $3.85 million into Hylio across private and prior RegCF rounds. And more than 2,000 start engine backers jumped aboard this campaign, pushing funds past $3 million before the final sprint, giving the company runway to expand the production line and double R&D headcount. But traction isn't only financial, it's physical acres. And surpassing the 1 million acre milestone proves operators are logging real hours in the real world, from King Ranch in Texas treating brushy pecan bottoms to smallholder coffee farms in Guatemala where steep terrain once made spray access impossible. And because AgriDrones can dispense not just pesticides but cover crop seed and granular biostimulants, the addressable acreage widens again into regenerative AG, another tailwind with government incentives attached. Yet all this progress still hinges on one simple truth. The drones have to work every single day under harsh conditions: dust, humidity, 20-mile-an-hour winds. And that's why Hylio opted to manufacture stateside, controlling QC down to the solder joints rather than trusting third-party factories. The result is a mean time between failure that rivals field tractors, and when parts do fail, UPS delivers replacements overnight from Texas, not Shenzhen. So downtimes measure hours, not weeks. A huge relief during narrow application windows when a fungicide mistimed by 48 hours can wipe out yield potential. All of which brings us to an uncomfortable question. If the tech is this good, why isn't every field buzzing already? And the honest answer is adoption curves. Farmers are practical, they want proof. But once their neighbor swarms 80 acres in an afternoon while they're still refilling the ground, rig for pass 3, word of mouth spreads faster than a rumor at the county fair, and the phone at Richmond lights up, which is exactly what happened last season across the Delta, and again this spring in the Midwest. So the flywheel spins. More units sold, more acres treated, more data collected, leading to smarter application maps, closing the loop back to better results and more testimonials. A virtuous cycle investors usually wait years to witness, but here it's already visible on AgriSol dashboards and revenue reports. Still, before anyone pulls out a wallet, let's address risk, because agriculture is notorious for commodity whiplash. Corn at $5 looks very different from corn at $3. And regulatory winds shift, though right now they're at America's back. But the biggest risk might be complacency, believing that GPS boom sprayers and crop dusters are good enough, yet history shows incremental tools lose to disruptive leaps. And when capital efficiency meets environmental stewardship plus national security preference for domestic supply chains, betting against that convergence feels like trying to plow clay with a mule while your neighbor's seed drill rides RTK lines. So whether you're considering shares via Start Engine before the August 15th close or simply evaluating equipment upgrades for next planting season, the window for first-mover advantage is wide open. And the next time you glance up at a field and see a trio of white quadcopters arcing perfectly along the contour, no diesel smoke, no tire rut, just a faint mist settling exactly where it's needed, you'll know the AG revolution isn't coming over the horizon. It's already here, and it's spelled Hylio, so maybe the only real question left is what side of that revolution do you want to stand on, because the drones are taking off with or without us, and the acre counter never stops.